Sky is one of those creepy children's TV series that I managed to miss. Well, maybe I was watching Blue Peter at the time, and I've always meant to watch it. It's got a mysterious time-travelling boy with solid blue eyes, and it's written by the team who gave us some of the great Doctor Who's of the 70s. So it's got to be a winner, right? Well, let's have a look and see. You know, even after watching it, I'm not 100% sure of the plot of Sky. Essentially, a young time traveller with mysterious powers is stranded in the past after encountering a black hole. He needs to find the Jugonet to help him get home, and he's helped by 3 local human teenagers, Arby, Jane and Roy, whilst being pursued by the evil Goodchild and attacked by a host of plants and crows. Sky is written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin, who, as I mentioned earlier, wrote some of the great 1970s Doctor Who's, also introduced the robotic dog K9. They also went later on to write this TV series Into the Labyrinth in the early 1980s. Sky was broadcast in 7 25-minute episodes from Monday the 7th of April 1975 until the 19th of May 1975. It was made by HTV, who among other things also produced Children of the Stones. Sky is a TV series certainly of its time. It's just so very 1970s. It's almost experimental in every way. It's fondly remembered by many, but sometimes those rose-tinted glasses are just what they are. Look, I've watched a lot of kids' TV from the 1970s and 80s, but this is the first one where I thought the writers must have actually been on something when they wrote it. It's hard to follow, makes little sense, and you end up with zero affinity for any of the characters. Sky, who is supposed to be the hero, isn't even nice to those who are trying to help him. He looks like a cross between an early New Romantic and Joseph looking for his lost dream coat. I know that child actors sometimes have to become a little bit older before their acting skills mature and they become more accomplished. And I've always tried to bear this in mind when watching these videos. But in this production, everybody is absolutely awful and wooden, the kids and the adults. It may only be 7 25-minute episodes long, but it feels longer. Sky is one of those kids' TV series that never got a second airing. It just faded away. However, Network DVD did release it back in 2009. The original film stock of episodes 3 and 7 were badly damaged, and those damaged segments were replaced by some poor quality off-air VHS recordings. Episode 3 is particularly quite bad. In 2015, Baker wrote a novelisation of Sky which was published by Phantom Film Books. It's still available via Amazon, either as a hardback or on Kindle. Marc Harrison takes the lead role of Sky at the age of just 17 and is probably the best actor in the series. His full blue contact lenses look painful, and I'm sure I saw his eyes watering in several episodes. A few years later he appeared in the Onedian line, although without the blonde hair and blue eyes you'd never recognise him. There's a YouTube channel, link below, dedicated to his story, and Mark himself as he is now. Stuart Locke played Arby Venner. This is the second time his name's cropped up in this video series of mine. He also played the part of Tom in The Amazing Mr. Blunden, link in the video above. Cheryl Butterfield played his sister, Jane Van Orr. A few years earlier, she appeared in the long-forgotten kids' TV series, The Silver Sword, but very little since Sky. Richard Spate, son of prolific TV writer Johnny Spate of Till Death Us Do Part fame, played Arby and Jane's friend Roy Briggs. A year earlier, he'd been playing Peter in an early series of The Tomorrow People. Again, very little on TV or film since Sky. Richard Edison, OBE, played Goodchild. He appears to have had a long and distinguished career both on stage and screen, although this is probably not his finest moment. He died in 1991 at the age of 83. In this, he also managed to look a lot like my ex-boss, who was also called Goodchild. Strange that. Some of the early episodes of Sky looked like they were filmed in a field somewhere in the middle of nowhere. However, later episodes took advantage of Glastonbury Tor as well as Stonehenge, but both were only visited fairly briefly. Look, I wanted to like Sky, I really did. I've enjoyed every single one of these kids' TV series I've watched either again or for the first time while creating these videos, until I came to Sky. Some shows have just of their time, and this certainly is it. The pacing is slow, nothing really happens after the first episode other than lots of running around. The plot is bizarre, and there really must have been some drugs involved somewhere along the line. The acting is terrible, as I said, but I'll give Mark Harrison extra bonus points for trying hard with the material he was given. These are the early days of Chroma Key, and it's used to fairly good effect, but the electronic music is incredibly grating. Think the really annoying ones in Doctor Who sometimes, and then just multiply it by 1,000,000. And the ending, I won't spoil it for anyone, but it's just strange. If you remember this from the time it was first broadcast, I really don't think watching it again will be a good experience for you. If, like me, you never watched it, I think you'll find it really hard going. However, it's an example for when kids' TV could be experimental and even avant-garde. Sometimes these things work, and sometimes they don't. But until next time, goodbye.